here we are again with, well, actually, I just seen his ugly mug so many times that, what do you want me to say? It's another Harman Smith video.
It's been a while since the direct aired, and over the past couple of days, we've seen this huge barrage of criticisms toward the console. Towards the price point, towards the games, towards Nintendo's business strategies.
Yeah, which are all very, it makes sense, man. It makes a lot of sense. And holy shit, by the way, I thought it reset it and didn't put it on 1.5 speed. No, this motherfucker just talks really, really slow. Like, really, really slow.
Toward like all sorts of like weird conspiracies and ideas. What
Like, this is regular, bro. I have you on 1.5 speed. This should be regular speed, bro. Are you kidding me?
we're witnessing is essentially
Hell
the
nah.
dying gasps of
Oh.
90s gamer culture.
Okay, I was
This
about to say,
idea
never
that Nintendo is this brand that we all universally despise, because that's
mind.
what we've been
Fucked up,
dealing with
well.
for like the past 30 years, is this mindset that Nintendo is awful, that they're an evil corporation, and that they're holding gaming back, and only the saviors of
They have, and like, even for themselves, yes. Like, I mean, can we all look at the games that came out that's not on the Switch? Right? Like, those things kind of push boundaries, right? They push all sorts of things, whether they're technical, gameplay wise, whatever. And then you see Nintendo with Breath of the Wild finally making that game open world, right? And it's like, hey, I'm not gonna lie, I'm a Breath of the Wild supporter. The first one only, the second one sucks dick. But like, I love Breath of the Wild too. But it's like, holy shit, it took you this long to put Zelda open world, to put anything open world, right? Shit.
Sony, Xbox, and PC could hope to
And then we got fucking brainlets like him pretending that Breath of the Wild was this revolutionary thing. Oh my god, dude, anywhere that you are able to see, you could go to. Yeah, that's how open world games work. Congratulations, Nintendo fanboy, you finally realized what open world games are. Like, holy hell.
from this menace with uncensored games, with violence, with mature games for mature gamers. Like these were all things that were thrown at us for years, right? Decades, right? And we're finally seeing the chickens come home to roost, right? We're seeing Nintendo like hit it out of the park with all of their major gaming IPs. They branch out to movies, and we're at the point now where they are the market.
Again, hey Harman, I hate to break it to you, but just because that they're now doing this stuff, that does not mean that they're void from criticism. Okay, in fact, they're actually open to more criticism, if you ask me. The reason why I think that is because, them going to mobile gaming per se, right? The reason why that's not making them as much money is because it's too little too late. Like, you should have done this way before when mobile gaming was, like, craving, like, mobile specific experiences. But now people are playing Call of Duty Mobile. Is that made around mobile? I mean, yes, but you know what I mean. It's like, no, it has a virtual analog and shit like that. Now people are playing bigger and better games on mobile. You know what I mean? There's not one Nintendo game I'm playing on my mobile devices right now. None. You know why? Because they all suck. They're all terrible. They try to make them around the touchscreen and stuff, but it's like, it's very gimmicky and it's very bad and it's not really fun. I don't know. Like, play Mario Kart on the mobile devices, and you'll see what I mean. Like, for iOS and Android, and you'll see. It's so bad. And then Pokemon Masters, no thank you. I'd just rather download some ROMs. Some Pokemon ROMs, because now I could do that on my iPhone. So I could just download some Pokemon ROMs, bro. In fact, I actually played Pokemon Sea Glass on the iPhone. So, yeah, that's actually one of my popular videos. Go check it out. Actually, no, wait, and not on this channel, lol, oops. Anyways, yeah, so basically what I'm trying to say is that, like, other industries move on. And because Nintendo doesn't, buddy, that does not mean that they're void from criticism. Sorry.
Leader in the gaming industry. And I keep seeing people try and dispute this, but when you look at just how successful the Switch has been, when you look at all these successful games, when you look at like how well received the Switch 2 has been, the reality is very clearly that
well received? The Switch 2 has been well received? In what delusion do you live in, Harman? No. Oh my god. This guy is a special breed, man. I'm sorry. What are you talking about? There is no good reception. Maybe before they unveiled the price. Yeah. Even I was positive about the Switch before they unveiled the price. That didn't happen. Not after the price was revealed. Look at this dude. Does he really have a Mario hat on his like shelf like that? Like really, bro?
Switch
Oh
2
my
is
god.
going to be a success.
Or
And that
his
like
hanger.
everybody coping and seething is just kind of doing so for clickbait purposes, right? And I do think that's the
No, Harman, they're doing it for criticism purposes. My god. It's almost like because they are criticizing Nintendo for being as fucking poorly, as poorly implemented within the modern gaming society that they are. They still think that people love paying like what? Like, love paying for a whole console just to play a couple of exclusives. People have moved on from that. Even Sony knows this. You know? Nintendo's outdated. So are their games. So are their services. So are everything that they try to do. Okay? And this fool over here is like just completely simping for them like they deserve it. They don't. They're not this like amazing entertainment industry that you think they are, or this entertainment deity, sorry, that you think they are. You're dumb, Harman. You and the rest of the Nintendo fanboys. You guys are dumb.
major takeaway we need to say at this stage, right? This console is going to be extraordinarily successful. The Direct was extremely
Yeah, I don't think so. No, because the reason why the Switch was a huge success, like he's saying, very successful. I think the Switch 2 will be successful. Unfortunately, I think it will. Not extraordinarily successful. Fuck no. In fact, I think it won't even reach half of what the Switch 1 is. You know, maybe not. It might not, because the prices are outlandish, dude. They're outlandish. It's ridiculous. And it's like, I'm sorry, but like, okay, even if you sell more than half of what the Switch has, okay, what about the Switch 3? Are they going to make it more expensive? You see what I mean? Like, people who will say no to the Switch 2, that's just going to be more people saying no to the Switch 3. You understand what I'm saying? Like, that's what I'm saying. Like, what I'm trying to really say is that they have no longevity. Every console is trying to nickel and dime their current user base, and the more they do that, the more people they lose. And Nintendo will lose people with the Switch 2. Sorry, Harman, but that's a sad, hard, cold reality of it.
well received. And all we're seeing now in regards to the criticisms from nobody YouTubers like Real Life Gay Wizard or I don't
Like you. You're a nobody YouTuber too.
know, Craig from Screw Attack, Craig the Snake, like all these
Buddy, they're bigger than you.
guys
Like,
are doing is just kind of sitting there being like, I don't know if people will be willing to pay $450 for a Nintendo console. Like, they're going with this line that, like,
why are you so passionate over $1 billion company fucking you? Like, I'm actually genuinely curious, bro. What kind of autistic part of your mind like is saying, yo, I want to defend Nintendo. I want to defend this $1 billion corporation that's fucking me over. That's fucking my fellow Nintendo fans over. That's fucking over the gaming industry as a whole. What is making you just stick your ass out and waiting for Nintendo's small Japanese cock to enter it? What are you doing, bro? You're a sad, pathetic human being, dude. Like, even I, as a like 12-year-old or whatever, was not this much of a Nintendo fanboy. Like, if they did something I didn't like, I would actually be like, what the fuck, Nintendo? You know? But everything good that they did, the reason why I called myself a fanboy is because everything good that they did, I praised to high heavens, you know? Maybe they deserved it, maybe not. I know Super Smash Bros. Brawl do, so, you know. Anyways. Yeah, so Harman, stop being sad and pathetic, please.
Nintendo has raised game
Then again, that's like asking water to stop being wet. Like, it ain't gonna happen.
prices when actually, like, the standard is 70 now. I don't know why people still can't, like, wrap their heads.
Because those games are fucking worth it, you idiot. Well, some. You think fucking Nintendo games are worth 80? Are you insane? The hell? They're not even worth 70. They're not even worth 60. Bro, like, have you guys seen most of the Nintendo Switch the Nintendo Switch games? No, none of them are worth the $60 price tag. Especially because a lot of them are older fucking games. Like, let's be honest here. Most of the Switch games, like the Switch library, are older games. You got what, like Skyward Sword HD. You got that, yeah, which is only that game, by the way, for $60. They could have easily packaged it in with Twilight Princess remastered that was on the Wii U. They could have easily packaged it in with what was it, with the HD remaster of what the hell was it? Wind Waker. They could have done that, but no. Nope. Screw you. You don't get any of that, bitch.
around this, but like game prices have already been raised this generation. You know, Nintendo
Yeah, and people are not okay with it, Harman. Fuck.
is just catching up. And before you try and like spout some nonsense like, well, Mario Kart World is 80, like they already confirmed that they're going to raise prices again for Grand Theft Auto 6, right? This entire
No, that was not confirmed, by the way. That was a rumor, but okay.
gigantic cope that Nintendo Switch 2 is somehow more expensive than $3,000 gaming PCs, $1,000 tablets, or like $700 $700
Oh, guys, I just realized. I guess Harman is claiming that that the Switch 2 is a smartphone or a tablet. I didn't know that. Because it's almost like those fucking things do different things and a lot more things than the Switch, you dumbass. Jesus, bro. I did not know that the Switch 2 was a tablet or a smartphone, really. Damn, tell me more, you wise sage.
5 Pros is just laughably off base, right? You know, the giant cope you have right now is that people.
The only thing laughable is your constant cocksucking, bro. That's the only thing that's laughable. Like, I honestly hate Nintendo fanboys. I really do. Probably more so than PlayStation and Xbox fanboys. Legit, they are the most infuriating, annoying people in the world that, like, just constantly, like, defend Nintendo in every step of the way when they don't deserve it. They don't deserve it. And look at this guy. He's like, he's acting like we're talking bad about his family members, man. Like, we're saying that, you know, his family members are basically Hitler. Like, no, dude, we're not attacking anyone that you personally know. In fact, we're attacking people that are attacking you in some way, bro. Like, you're dumb. You're really just dumb, Harman. You really are.
Are like legit trying to tell you that like, oh, nobody's gonna pay for a Nintendo because that's a lesser brand. You know, they really want to cling on to this idea that Nintendo is some like lesser secondary piece of hardware that people don't actually like or enjoy, right? They really want you to believe
they're forced to enjoy it if they do enjoy it. You know what I mean? Like, they're kind of forced to. Oh, you know, I want to play Mario at a stable fucking frame rate, but, you know, Nintendo's keeping me on the Switch. Like, I mean, bro, there are people, actually, I already said this multiple times in other videos, but, like, basically there are ways to play your Switch games better, but it involves modding it with a PC. So, bitch, it's like, if you want your games to even hit anywhere near 60 frames on the Switch, like most of the Switch games, like Dead by Daylight, oh my god, Dead by Daylight runs like utter garbage on the Switch. You know, I seen a streamer, like, play Dead by Daylight on the Switch, and it was like at 60 frames. And I'm like, yo, how'd you do that? He's like, oh, there's a way to mod your Switch, blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, oh, shit. Oh, I did not know that. Oh, fuck. Well, there you go. There you go. God, man. I mean, this guy is an idiot.
that Switch is not competitive spec-wise with PlayStation or Xbox, right? Like, this has always been the cope. You know, ever since, like, even in the N64 days, this was true, where they, like, try and sit there and tell you that, like, the hardware's not up to snuff. You know, like, they try and tell you that there's
It's not.
all these better options out there, and they're just
There
aren't, you know, ever at any point. You know, I'll give you
Really? Like, the Steam Deck is not a better option? Dumbass? Is Legion Go not a better option? I mean, you could literally detach those things like they're Joy-Cons. You sure? The ROG Ally isn't a better option? I mean, the Switch already has general flaws that fit within those handhelds as well. But at least those handhelds are PC handhelds. They're not traditional handhelds. So they have an excuse to have bad battery life, which you could change, by the way, if you really hate them that much, which I don't blame y'all. Really, I don't. But yeah, I'm thinking about changing my battery. But I'm also just thinking about, getting a Steam Deck 2, just waiting for a Steam Deck 2, and then fully, if it's really that capable, fully customizing that one. But yeah. Yeah, so, like, bro, what are you talking about? There are much better alternatives than the Switch, let alone the Switch 2. Like, I actually think that the Switch 2 is a worse handheld than the Switch 1. Will be a worse handheld than the Switch 1. Absolutely. Oh my god, man.
Good example, the PS1. The only thing that made the PS1 relevant, RPGs, right? Like, oh, Final Fantasy VII, it's the greatest thing ever. No, it's not.
You're an idiot. You're actually an idiot, Harman. I don't even like the PS1 more than the N64, by the way. But the PS1, let's not fucking forget. If you're a real gamer there, Harman, if you actually know what the fuck you're talking about, which you clearly don't. Seriously, man, go on your meds. Go take your meds, bro. Like, seriously. The PS1 was important for history. It really was. That was the console that gave us Tekken. That was the one that, like he said, gave us Final Fantasy VII. Which, I'm sorry, but yes, that was one of the most grand games that ever came out. Sorry to tell you there, Harman. But that shat all over anything, at least scope-wise, compared to anything on the N64. And I love the Nintendo 64 more. I really do. Give me Smash Bros. Give me Pokemon Stadium 1 and 2. Give me any of those games over Final Fantasy VII on the PS1 any day of the week. Absolutely. But it's like, the PS1 was very important. Like, if you were a developer at the time, the PS1 was your go-to console. Because it was the cheapest to develop for. It was the easiest to develop for, right? And it had your basic controller. Nintendo had this weird controller that some third parties couldn't even utilize properly. That's why you have a bunch of games that, yeah, granted, are made around the Nintendo 64, but is that a good thing? Is that really a good thing? They're horrible sometimes, right? Man, really, really bad. Jesus. Like, when I was playing GoldenEye 007 on the Nintendo 64, or at least their emulator, right? Why the fuck did like, when you aim your gun, why the fuck would it go back to the center of a screen? Are you retarded? Who the hell programmed that? Idiots. Like, complete morons. Jesus. But anyways, yeah, like, we couldn't just move the fucking C-sticks back to where they want. Like, so dumb. It was so stupid. And it's like, because the Nintendo 64 controller was really fucking weird. People did not know what the hell they were doing. And although that platform was amazing for 3D platformers, mostly, the PS1 still did a lot more to innovate. A lot more. So what are you talking about, you idiot? The PS1 did a lot more than your dumbass thinks. Again, if it wasn't for the PS1, we wouldn't have the grand scope of Final Fantasy. Like, Final Fantasy would not even hit nowhere near the success that it did, which allowed them to go further and beyond with it. Again, Tekken would have not been made. Like, let's see. There's a lot of PS1 games that have been made because of the PS1. This dumb Nintendo fanboy, bruh.
Pokemon comes out in the Game Boy and demolishes it. Not only that, with
that demolishes the PS1? Really? I mean, it demolished, I guess, the portable landscape. But the PS1 was a PS1. It demolished the Nintendo 64 and the home console land space. And the Saturn, but, that's mostly never counted. But yeah, so what are you talking about, Harman? Yeah, maybe the Game Boy did okay against portables, but against the PS1, no. No, that was a different market. What are you talking about?
the title, but like way down the road, expanding into like, a wide range of spin-off games, a multimedia franchise, a card game, anime, like Pokemon was way bigger than any JRPG on PlayStation.
Oh, so you're saying that Tekken 8 being a thing is not, anything special. That's not a franchise, guys. No, of course not. Final Fantasy being as big as it ever has been, mostly because of the PS1 days. No, that's not because of no. It's not because of Final Fantasy 7 hitting wide mainstream success. Shut up, guys. Shut up. No. You guys are speaking too many truths. Shut up.
Station. And yet, the cope for the past 30 years is that, well, the N64 didn't have RPGs. okay, but Pokemon is right there. You know, like it's just a giant.
Yeah, Pokemon Stadium 1 and 2. I love those games, by the way. I fucking love them. But they were battle simulators. They were not RPGs, you dumbass. Like, the fuck? And in fact, like, Pokemon Stadium on the Switch, you know, the Switch is online. You have to use rental Pokemon there. It's not like you could capture them, level them up, and actually do RPG shit there, Harman. You moron. Jesus, man.
Coke. You know, oh, N64 didn't have RPGs. Like, PlayStation didn't have games, period. You know, Ocarina of Time by itself is, like, worth more than...
PS1 didn't have games? It had more of a selection than the Nintendo 64, you dipshit. What? Again, this is coming from someone who likes the Nintendo 64 more. This is weird. Like, I feel wrong saying this, but dumbass, it had more of a selection than the Nintendo 64. You brain-dead Neanderthal. What the fuck are you talking about? Oh my god. Like, again, I mean, okay, the PS1, like, platformers, in my opinion, weren't as good as the Nintendo 64 ones. But they were there, and they were still pretty decent. You know? Like, and then, again, you had fighting games, you had RPGs, let's see, and you also had racing games. Again, probably not as good as the Nintendo 64 counterparts, but you still had them. And they were still good enough, if anything. Oh, my God.
Like, the entire PS1 library. You know, Super Smash Bros., you know, Pokemon Snap, you know, like F-Zero X, like all of this.
Pokemon Snap is overrated garbage. Shut the fuck up.
All of these games are all stuff that I've gotten way more mileage off of over the past 30 years than, like, any other piece of technology I've ever experienced, right? And the narrative has always been that the N64 was a failure, and if, like, pressed on it, like, the copies that...
Unfortunately, it kind of was. Like, I mean, is that really shocking to him? It sold, like, what, 40 million, right? That's bad, yes. You know? Yeah, that's kind of... It's okay, I guess. But, yes, you know, for the cartridges being expensive as they were, for Nintendo going all out on graphics that generation, surprisingly, I know, weird. Yeah, I don't know. It's like, yeah, it should have, like, sold more there, Harman. So, yes, actually, it did fail, technically.
Like, well, it was only successful in America. Yeah, the biggest market in the world at the time. Like, that isn't a flex, you know? And that's kind of what we're seeing here now, right?
You mean a Japanese company? Hey, guys, apparently it's not a problem for a Japanese company to not have success in Japan. Harman, think before you speak.
With the Switch 2 out, with the Switch 2 revealed, with now that we know what it is, and, like, the game's going to play and how it's going to transition from the Switch 1 to the Switch 2, now that we know, like, everything about this thing, you know, the launch window games, this thing is clearly slated to be successful, right? But people
not as successful there, Harman, and that's really important to know.
Cannot bring themselves to admit it, because acknowledging that Nintendo...
I'm admitting it just fine, buddy. Everyone is admitting it. We're just going to say that, yeah, I'm not buying it, and this thing will not succeed nowhere near as much as the original Switch, and it won't. It will not. You're going to lose more people with the Switch 2. You're going to lose more people with the Switch 3, assuming that continues, right? You're going to lose more people with the Switch 4. You understand the pattern. That's what I'm saying. It's like, you understand the pattern, right? You're just going to keep losing people with each console, motherfucker. That's how it
is releasing this console, and that it is slated to be hugely successful, on par with the original Switch, that would be admitting defeat. You know, they would be kneeling towards to Nintendo, and that's just something that, like, the industry is just going to desperately try and downplay and ignore for as long as possible. You know, like, it's kind of crazy. You know.
You know, the funny thing is that no one really went against Nintendo until we saw the prices. Like, again, even I was like, oh shit, like, oh wow, all these games look amazing. In fact, I have the video up right now of me reacting to everything on there, Harman. So you could check out this super negative guy over here and his super negative reactions, apparently, to the Nintendo Switch 2. Hey, dumbass, it was only when we saw the price. Why are you like this? Why do you exist like this? Why?
Last year, they were, like, shilling Astrobot and trying to call it the greatest 3D platform ever made. And now, not even a year later, we have, like, Donkey Kong, Bonanza, that's clearly going to outperform it. You know, you have not a peep from the industry, but
Okay, it didn't come out? Like, what? Okay, so what? Even if it does, it's like, okay, what is it? Astrobot came out before it. So what's wrong with people being like, hey, this is more of what Sony should do? Now, I think the $70 price tag is bullshit, but what do you think people are going to think with fucking $80 for a 3D platformer, motherfucker? You're stupid. You're dumb.
the way. You have Mario Kart World, right? You know, the industry is trying everything it can do to like try and pretend that like the game looks boring
Mario Kart World looks like the same shit. Shut up.
or that it has all these issues or that like it's not like it's just bloated or whatever. You know, like people are complaining about like how they're handling like the visual upgrades and stuff like that. Like it's all just a giant cope. Like a magnificent
What's a giant cope about saying that paying for upgrades is bullshit? Paying for online is bullshit. Paying for something that has been a thing since the Dreamcast, Harman, like game chat, and it's a thing that they're implementing, like the button, right? They're like, oh, this is a button that you press for game chat, blah blah blah, and it's like, motherfucker, you're making us pay for something that you're trying to implement within the console? What? It's stupid, Harman. Damn. It's like imagine when the PS4 said like, oh we have the share button now, so you're gonna have to pay for it. Like, no, they didn't do that. They didn't do that. They didn't charge you to put shit on your videos or whatever. They didn't charge you to stream off the PS4. They didn't charge you to upload your video onto YouTube with the share button. You idiot. Oh my god. He's actually turning me. He's making me insane.
magnificent giant like cope from people who just cannot admit that all of their criticisms towards Nintendo just have no basis in reality at all. Because this is
And you just can't admit that you have no fucking soul. Like, you actually have no brains and no soul.
this is the thing that gets me about this. You know, like the initial wave of controversy in regards to Switch 2. Like you saw these people come out immediately.
I'm sorry to keep pausing like this, guys, but did I just fucking see this grown-ass man with a Pikachu toy? Harman, grow the fuck up, honestly.
Like making things up. You know, claiming that games would cost $90, claiming that like tariffs would raise the Switch price significantly. You know, claiming that Nintendo doesn't have anything else in the pipeline other than what they showed off in this direct. You know, all of these things.
No one argued that, you idiot. All the complaints I have seen so far are just about the price. Who the fuck said anything? Honestly, this is the first time I heard of that. Is anyone else, did anyone else say this? Where they're like, oh, that's all they have. No. People are complaining about the fact that the price is fucking whack. That's all. The price is outlandish. That's the only thing I heard people complain about, Harman. Who the fuck said anything about the games or Nintendo not having anything else in the pipeline? Are you stupid? How many times am I going to ask that question? Of course he fucking is. Jesus.
Obviously just gigantic, massive, like Kamehameha copes, right? And all of them over the past week have been denounced and dismissed, right? Like there is it's kind of crazy to see where we're at now. You know, after that initial wave of like trying to control the narrative and keep it negative, just how positive people are about the console, right? Like
Harman, I think the only one people coping is you and the rest of the Nintendo fanboys, because you guys are so fucking sad. All you Nintendo fanboys are pathetic. I think I already said this in the last video, right? But, you guys are so upset because now it's your turn to get shat on. You Nintendo fanboys. Because Xbox has gotten shat on. I already said this in the last video, but Xbox has gotten shat on because of the Series S being a limited piece of shit, hardware-wise. Sony has been shat on with the PS5 Pro. Rightfully so. Nintendo, now it's their turn with the Switch 2. Oh boy, howdy nilly. It's their turn now. And you Nintendo fanboys can't fucking stand it because you had a full generation of people stroking that small Nintendo cock. Oh my god. So now you're mad. You're coping. It's sad.
And I can't begin to tell you just how hyped I am for this thing. And I know I'm not the only one. And YouTubers can cry all they want.
Yeah, you and the rest of the losers who have no standards in this industry. You're going to be one of the few Nintendo losers who are still playing Mario 50,000 on the Switch 5, where you know, they're going to charge you $150 just to look at the fucking screen. Like that's what I imagine them. This is what I imagine happening.
Like, the harder they cry, the bigger the backlash is going to be when, like, people finally have enough of their nonsense, you know? Like, we saw this with Pokemon, to a certain extent.
No one. Dude, the only nonsense people are having enough of is you stupid Nintendo fanboys and Nintendo's bullshit. That's it. People have had enough of your bullshit, Harman, and Nintendo's. That's the only people giving backlash here. Oh my god, this guy is stupid, ain't he? He is.
You know, we saw this with, like, the Wii U, right? Like, these people exaggerate every single negative thing so much that when there's a massive influx of people who like the game for what it is, like, suddenly their entire narrative just kind of crumbles, you know? And that's what we're seeing here, is that, like, this thing, the Switch 2, is going to be
That sneeze was smarter than anything you said.
phenomenally successful. And you are going to see people coping and seethe about it long after launch. You know, if you thought, like, Breath of the Wild was bad, you know, Switch launch window was bad, like, you're going to see...
And you're going to cope even harder when the Switch 2 sells less than the Switch 1. Like, you're going to cope even harder, because I know that's going to happen, you know, whether Nintendo likes it or not, it's going to happen. So, have fun with your shallow victories that you think are victories for some reason. Yeah, the Switch 2 is going to succeed more. What does that do for you? Oh, wow, you're going to have to pay more for video games, and you're going to have to pay more for services, and all sorts of things that hasn't even been revealed yet. God knows. You have to pay for your stupid little tech demo that something like Astrobot's Playroom came free with the PS5. Oh, but congratulations, though, you know? Yeah, the Switch 2 is going to be a success. Not a big one, but it's going to be a success. And even if it is a big success, it's going to be less of a big success than the Switch 1. So, enjoy your shallow victory, if you even call that a victory.
It get a lot worse, okay? This is the last stand of the gaming community. After this console comes out, there will be no denying that Nintendo is staying at the top, that they cannot be just dethroned, that there won't be any, like, new corporation that swoops in with their...
Oh, awesome. They're staying at the top where, like, PlayStation and Xbox are dying anyways. Congratulations. Yeah, it's almost like all of them share the same crap of, like, issues. All of them share the same problems, don't they? Yeah, crazy, right?
New hardware, it's over, okay? You know, any minor success that any other...
It's I mean, he's basically saying that his favorite overlord company over here is like, oh yeah, you know, Nintendo's gonna be king of shit mountain. It's like, okay, cool. Meanwhile, us PC dudes are like in the fucking billions. Who is actually playing games? Yeah. Like, I don't know, man.
Has, you know, Elden Ring, Baldur's Gate 3, like, they're gonna get ported to Nintendo consoles. You know, there's no use getting hyped over this stuff when...
So what? Those are experiences. Even portably wise, I was able to play on the Steam Deck, Harman. What's your point? Wow, those fucking 5-year-old games are coming to the Switch too, dude. In horrible frames per second, by the way, if you guys haven't heard, Cyberpunk is gonna run like utter dog shit on the Switch too. They're saying that it's even having a hard time running at 30 frames. 30 fucking frames. Like, if you're lucky, I'm saying, it will run at 30. Which, that's kind of bad. I thought it's 120 frames there, Harman. Right? That's weird. So weird. Yeah, it's almost like the fucking Switch 2 is a complete sham of a console. Wow, weird.
You can play the better games that come out on Switch first, and then just wait for ports. You know, like... a lot.
Huh? What is this idiot talking about? You Nintendo fanboys, all you did was just wait for ports. That's all you idiots do. Like, what? Like, now you're stroking the dick of the Switch 2 because it's getting a bunch of old ass games, and now you're saying, oh, you guys will get ports. Like, bro, you contradict yourself in a millisecond. I'm amazed. I'm truly amazed.
People had to do with Elden Ring. Like, there simply will not be any any way of dethroning Nintendo from its throne as
You're right. No one has to dethrone Nintendo, as he says. Nintendo will do that themselves. Yeah, you're absolutely right.
the king of gaming.
Oh, Nintendo's the king of gaming, huh? Really? Well, what's your evidence on that? Numbers? Well, PC and mobile is actually the king of gaming then, if you want to go that route with numbers. How are they the king of gamings now? They can't even fucking like catch up with modern hardware. Like, how are they the king of gaming? Maybe console gaming, but even then it's like, cool, you're king of a dying fucking breed of console gamers. Congratulations. Like, what's the flex there, bro? Anyways, I'm done with this fool. Obviously, the joke is, the joke and the video, it is a joke, so whatever, is done. So please be sure to like, comment, subscribe, guys. Do all that good stuff. Please give me a like and everything, and a subscribe. And I asked that twice because, like, I sat through this shit video, and now I'm really contemplating on hanging myself, so I would appreciate it if you guys would help me not contemplate that anymore. You know what I mean? Alright, I'm just gonna leave that there. Alright, see ya.